Welcome to the Roy Anthony and every Tuesday and every Thursday. Y'all tap in.
Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Roy
Is anybody
Anthony
out
Show
there?
is the spot to be, baby.
Hey, tune in. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the homie Big Hank and Cynthia. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the co-host Big Hank
and Cynthia.
It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. Everybody tune in, you dig it? It's funny as hell, my dude. It's when we can kick
every Tuesday.
Everything is going
every
down.
Thursday.
They about to do the most. It ain't a confrontation, it's a conversation, homie. Yo, on the weekends, the Roy Anthony
every
Show.
Tuesday.
It's during the week, homie. The Roy
every
Anthony
Thursday.
Show. What you listening to? The Roy Anthony Show. Come on and get a
Tap in
before we gotta
tap
go.
in.
What you listening to? The Roy Anthony
every
Show.
Tuesday.
Come on and kick it with us. The Roy Anthony
every
Show.
Thursday.
It's going down, homeboy. The Roy Anthony Show. Co-host
Tap in.
Big Hank. We getting it. What you think? Hey. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the homie Big Hank and Cynthia. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the co-host Big Hank
and Cynthia Jew.
Hey Doc, what's going on, man? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, Dick. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Hey, listen, we want to know if we can shoot a video here at the church that I know.
Is it going to glorify God?
Of course,
All right.
of course. Now, is there anything we can or cannot do at the church?
As long as you recognize that Jesus is real, it's all good.
I got you, man. We're going to make sure that happens.
All right.
Hey, yo, man, something's going on in front of the church.
What's that?
Yeah, man, my Jesus is real, man. I'ma tell you what he brought me through. Yeah. Jesus is real, sincere with the gratitude. I used to be the dude walking around with the attitude. Now I'ma keep it real, tell you just what he brought me through. Been shot 5 times and they thought they had got me too. Now I can take you back to my days on Figueroa. When I had them on the streets, man, I had them on the corner. Came up and bought a house and I moved out to Corona. From the package I was slinging all the way to Arizona. Now Jesus is real, he done brought me through it all. And took a couple lows, I done took a couple falls. That even hit the pen, me mugging through them halls. And just to get the child, I had to walk you through the fall. Now I can tell you more, and it's all gonna be real. The only way I'm here is, man, I had to take the deal. Now I can take my time and I can tell you how I feel. My Jesus is the only way, I got to keep it real.
Jesus is real. Jesus is real.
This for Ricky Harris. I was born with a bad hand. A bad man didn't know about it back then. God's plan, I once attempted suicide. It didn't work, then it had to be a reason, cause his grace gave me work. I done been on my deathbed. Gunshots, couldn't see the devil coming cause my mind's on rock. On my way to doing life for a bag and a murder. Seen the tears in my baby's eyes. She was hurt, so I got on my face and begging God for his favor. I heard the homies laughing, so I prayed with my neighbor. I done enough dirt in the streets and I don't really wanna deal with the soul that I reap. Ricky Harris said it all one night at the church. Me and Hank both smiled, not knowing it would hurt. I called the homie home, but I never forget that man. Blessed me in the church and the death comedy jam.
Jesus is real. Jesus is real.
I used to keep the banger on me, feeling I was untouchable. I stayed fitted to get it, yeah, like Heathcliff Huxtable. Cruising down the street in my 6'4". I walked the edge of the razor in pursuit of my dough. I was ruthless, I kept it rocking to the right side. My son had to eat, so ain't a thing I won't try. This lifestyle I lived, it led to prison and back. I was feeling persecuted, yeah, like John the Baptist. My mama used to ask me, boy, when you gon' quit it? At the same time praying for me, hoping I get it. My soul was heavy burden, I was short on faith. One night I heard the voice of God and I saw his son's face. I started praying for myself and got strong in the Lord, and now I reap a better harvest, way bigger than before. I wear the armor of the Father, ain't no need for a gun, cause I'm protected by the blood, cause now I'm walking with his son.
Jesus is real. Jesus is real.
What's up with you, Mike? What's going on?
What's up, Big Hank?
Man, I can't call it.
What's happening with you, homie?
Everything good, man. You remember the testimony night?
Man, that night with Ricky Harris at that church,
Man, that's still on my mind heavy, man.
that blessed me, homie. When I seen y'all pull off, homie, I was just like, man, it just seemed like he was an angel already, man.
He
He
was.
said God is real.
That's what he did say, God is real. Yeah.
Man, what it do? What it do? What it do? Yeah, once again, this is comedian Roy Anthony. Welcome to the Roy Anthony Show podcast with my co-stars who'll be popping in shortly as Big Hank Norman. You just seen him in that reel. You seen me do a cameo at the end, you feel me? Nephew Michael with my man, 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 ain't that a trip? Anyway, I'm gonna get it back. All the brothers from Jesus is Real. Long Beach, Linwood coming together. My man Perry. I'm sorry. Be getting all these names and stuff. I'm Roy Anthony. Welcome to the Roy Anthony Show podcast with my co-stars, Big Hank, Cynthia Joy. We have different guests coming in. We come from under the platform of the WO platform, which was created to bring awareness to how our veterans commit suicide on a daily rate. And the Roy Anthony Show, we prided ourselves on trying to create conversation. And we pride ourselves that it's not a confrontation, it's a conversation. And me and Big Hank, along with Cynthia Joy, we strike up a conversation. It could be about any subject with anybody, because we don't play that racist card here. You know, matter of fact, I got a guest coming in. I'm gonna do my orals, and then I got a good guest coming in, a special guest. Glad that I see him in the background. This man is a high-profile Hollywood producer, director, you know, and for real, he is in the background. Y'all gonna be surprised. But anyway, let me go on with the credits. The WO, which was created to bring awareness to how our veterans commit suicide on a daily rate, and that we are pride ourselves on having a conversation. And we know that our veterans, I always pertain that suicide was because of feeling inadequate, depression, and those type of alignments. But some of the one of the veterans brought to my attention that they was having nightmares. They had nightmares over things that have been done, and what they was going through over there in service. And so we would like everybody to know, whether you're a veteran, non-veteran, and you're contemplating suicide, just think again. You know, take it one day at a time. That's what we ask of you. Take it one day at a time. Sometimes this life can seem so unbearable. One day you could have a illness, or like Cynthia Joy, who is a survivalist of a stroke. And we thank God we've had people like our associate producer, Blue Phoenix, and who was cured on cancer, and for real. And we're gonna go into some stuff why I brought that up. Um, um, and so the WO, which was created by Richie King, aka Redneck Pimp, along with the co-creator Goose, our social producer Blue Phoenix, Ethan Daly, our good friends and neighbors that we call around the U.S., like the BB Nation, which is the Backwood Veterans based out of Oregon, the Long Beach All Stars, which is Long Beach, Linwood, Compton, and Watts, veterans and non-veterans. Then the WO Entertainment, which is based around the U.S. and other countries. And then our own personal family, friends, associates, and those who don't like us. We pride ourselves on having a conversation. It's not a confrontation. Sometimes we could seem like we're edgy and stuff. And one of the things, on my show, I don't believe in theories. I believe in facts. Theories is an unproven fact. And so I don't go round and round with people about theories. You have all these theories and stuff like that, and it just don't make sense. My man Dean Cerny is in. Well, wait a minute. I'm supposed to say his full name because I said it like they're gonna see. This is a tease that we do, Royce up. Then my man Jeremy Daniels said he's present. Now, I want to retract before I bring in my guest. Y'all know that we take God seriously. I believe in God and I have salvation through His Son. That's my belief. I don't push it up on no one, but I do believe in prayer. And people who knows me, Big Hank, the WO Entertainment, which the WO show will be on this evening, which is 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's Richie King, aka Redneck Pimp, along with Commander. And one of the cats that was on our show, he was a host on the WO, part of the WO platform. And it was told to us about 2 or 3 weeks ago that my man was suffering from cancer. He was at stage 4. One of our partners, Just Me, informed us. They called him Doc, and that Doc was in the hospital in critical condition. I get a call Saturday morning from the producer to tell me, thank you, Miss Daughter. She said, morning, handsome and beautiful people. Love the song. Amen. I get a call from Richie King Saturday morning to find out that this brother, we call him Doc. They call him Doc. I'm not going to put his name out there because he has enough stuff coming on already on, because you can't play when people is sincere and want to pray for you. And we found out that he was not in the hospital on cancer, but he was in jail in Florida, drunk driving, writing checks, and been exposed, because God don't like ugly. When people come and stand before their friends and their churches asking you to pray, they having sincere prayer for you, and all our hearts is concerned with you. And then and one of the things that's so the irony is that he be on the WO show on Tuesday evenings, talk about the dumbest criminals, the dumbest people. And now here you is caught up in the same category. I'm pretty sure Richie is going to clown him. As you know, today's show is stop with the dumb stuff and let's keep it real, And so sitting in the back, I have one of my guests. I know a lot of people probably know the actor, a legendary actor named Paul Newman. And one of my favorite movies was Cool Hand Luke. When I was a kid, that was one of my favorite movies, Cool Hand Luke. I don't know, it's because he ate 100 eggs and see, this is some of the people. They said, we called the hospital, police stations, in morgues in Arkansas. He never left Florida. And it was so funny is that well, I think he called me Saturday night. Richie called me Sunday morning, because I got in Saturday evening. I just got off the plane, and he said that he was supposed to be in Arkansas, but he's been in jail in Florida. And I was just reading how Florida was breaking down on spring break, um, party people, and so they was having checkpoints, and so Doc got caught down there. He was drinking and driving. Then he was writing out bad checks. But the thing that got me is when you write a bad check to the bail bondsman. That's a man who's supposed to be trying to get you out for free, get you out so you can take care of your business. And you don't wrote that man a bad check. You know what I'm saying? When you play around with prayers from people and they sincere about you, but like I said, I got this, one of my inspirational, this guy right here who's been through sicknesses and didn't perpetrate. And that's, and he's like me, he's not into that dumb stuff. And I want to bring him up. This is my man, Steve Oakley. This is God's son, Paul Newman. What's up with you, Mr. Steve Oakley?
Hey, howdy, y'all. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so I'm over here in Tujunga. I was finishing my morning walk when I was a couple minutes late. What keeps me going is a 45-minute walk every day. I had to learn to walk, talk, edit, act, think, and everything again and again. 2 pulmonary embolisms and 5 grand mal seizures and prostate cancer and 43 radiation treatments. But God brought me through all of that. And I've been in comas and etc. But the gag is I'm back and I'm driven on a mission to become. I'm Arthur Steinberg, the world's worst horror film director. My films are so bad, if you place them in your house and you have cockroaches, rats, termites, unwanted house guests, and unwanted relatives, they'll all run out screaming. So I created this character in order to stay alive as I've gone from 280 some odd pounds to 128 pounds. Yikes. Yeah. And the game, that's what kept me alive. You got to be thin. You got to watch what you eat. What killed me was what I ate. I was fat and I drank and I didn't take care of myself. And at that point, I wasn't even exercising, and that was it. So you have to be dedicated to what you're doing, your mission, stick with your mission, and never give up unless you go into the long darkness for the last time.
Yeah.
Because every time I had those grand mal seizures, I went into the brief darkness with some defibrillation, and I kind of look at it as 7 deaths and so forth, and it's enlightening and endarkening. Mm-hmm. And it's outrageous. But what we're up to is, in order to beat the wall, to get over the wall, you've got to stick with what you're doing and have your destination planned out. And that's what I'm doing with Steinberg. Roy's in the show, and we got him in it. He was in the episode he was in, and Steinberg does different things. He has different adventures, and all these Steinbergs are up on Vimeo.com. And I think everybody needs a destination like a Steinberg, or a goal, or a book, or a plan. And that's what'll keep them alive. Now we got someone else in the room.
Yeah,
we got here.
This is where our co-star, one of the queens of our show. This is Miss Cynthia Joy Town. Cynthia,
how you doing, Steve? How you doing?
Nice to meet you, Cynthia. Yikes!
Nice to meet you as well. How you doing, Sugarfoot?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Cynthia? It's good to see you. I know you've been busy like mud. So,
that's an understatement.
Yeah. Back to you, Steve. To my understanding, you let the people know that you run deep into Hollywood.
The only reason I'm in this business, sort of in a way, obviously every school you go to in LA or Hollywood back in the day, because I'm 74 years old, so we're talking about the 50s and on. Everybody was in the biz, and kids were stars of shows, and they went to school with us and on and on. But the real trip was when I was 18 years old in high school. I was doing weightlifting. I probably weighed 250 then, and I weigh 128 now. and I was bench pressing way too much, 250, and I yelled spot. The guy spotting me wasn't paying attention, and I dropped the weights right down on my chest, almost broke my ribs, and fortunately I didn't. And the guy says, hold on. He reaches down with one hand and he picks up the 250 pounds like a dumbbell, puts it on the floor, and says, I'll make it up to you. Where do you live? Well, I lived in an antique store with my mom, and we ate pinto beans and things like that. And that's when I was a senior in high school even. We weren't the richest. We were the poorest. And the bottom line, this guy shows up on the parking lot at the antique store, and it's getting dark, and he's in a Porsche, the 1955 Porsche, the same Porsche James Dean died in, the same make and model, but not the same one. And the back seat is full of Coors beer. And he says, hop in. My mom yells from the porch, you're not going anywhere. It's a school night. And I said, I'm going out and partying. So I hopped in the car. The dude took off through Coldwater, which is the worst canyon, and that's where James Dean died. And he was doing 150, 175 in a Porsche, this 18-year-old. And all I knew about him, his name was Newman. So I want to scream, and I realize if I scream, he'll lose control and we'll die. So I keep my mouth shut. We live. Somebody taught this guy how to drive. So we end up on the other side of the hill in Beverly Hills. And there he pulls up on a mansion on Whittier Drive, the size of the White House, pulls down the driveway. Seems like it took forever, to the back of the house. And he goes, oops, I forgot my key. I'll need you to boost me. So I don't know what's this guy doing. I boost him in a window. He goes inside, opens the kitchen door. The kitchen is the size of May Company, with every known kind of make and model of refrigerator and stove known to man. It looked like a damn restaurant. So we walk through there, and there's a grand piano, and on the grand piano, there's two pictures, Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. And he goes, that's my dad. Yikes. I was in the house of Paul Newman, the #1 box office draw in the world, the richest actor that ever lived. The house was full of Utrillos, Rembrandts, you name it. They were all there on the wall, the real deal. Paul always invested in real estate and fine paintings. As this phone goes
Steve,
off.
Let me introduce our other co-star. This is Big Hank, Norman Big Hank. This is Steve Oakley. What's up with you, bro? How you doing, man?
Hey, Big Hank.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Roy. Steve Oakley, how you doing, sir?
I'm partying online and having a ball.
That's what I'm talking about, partying online, man. I like that, man. It's all good.
When we first met, and he was telling me the story. Now I'm naive to Steve Oakley, but sometimes he likes being on a personal person. It was some people he had called, and it was like, you ain't Steve Oakley. Right. Tell me about that one comment he called. Just Me said, Big Hank.
What's up, Just Me chatting, baby?
Just Me. Then he said Paul Newman, and then he started.
Paul Newman is a legend.
Hi, Steve.
Yes,
some of the people calling in, Steve, chatting in. Mr. Steve Oakley is a legend. He's been in the business since the 50s. Matter of fact, I got him as he's helped one of the social producers for the sitcom. I sent it over there to him. Plus, he does Mr. Steinberg. That's that video. And so a lot of people think they know Hollywood and stuff, and they really don't. This man is a pioneer. Could you get back into how when you met Mr. Newman? Because wait a minute, you got to tell the story, Steve, about when Miss Joanne Woodward drunk that martini and what she said.
Well, that's coming. So this first night at the house, Scott and I were in there, and we went down to the wine cellar and started rating $100 bottles of wine. We partied, took a sauna, had a ball. Later on, a few weeks later, he brought me back to the house, not in the Porsche, that was his dad's car, in his VW Rabbit. And so he opens the door. This time he's got the key. I don't have to boost him. And there comes Joanne Woodward down the stairwell. Well, this is 1968. I'm an original hippie. I only wore clothes from garage sales. and or that hippie girls made, and my hair was down to my shoulders. What's left of it's still there. The bottom line, she's coming down the stairwell. She sees me in the door and she says, "Scott, why did you bring a lowlifer home?"
Wow.
Well, that one sentence stuck with me all these years.
Yeah.
56 years later, it's my only incentive. I may have even come back from the dead because of it. And the bottom line is, what did she mean by that? Everybody in show business is a lowlifer unless you're a star, a movie star, rich and famous, cut and dry. The rest of us are wherever we're at with our career, but until we're there, you know, the number one box office draw, the star, she had just won the Tony. She already had the Academy Award and the Emmy. She was a triple threat. But when she came down the stairs, she was just drunk as a skunk, drinking her martini. And so underneath it all, she was, you know, sort of normal, not much.
Yeah,
now, Paul taught me to act, and he loved to drink beer, and I kept up with him. And the one thing he said about acting was, whenever you find a character, put it in an envelope. The character could have a voice or look like a certain thing. Just put that in an envelope and fold the envelope up and put it in your pocket. I never knew what that meant, really, until I had died and come back from the dead, and a friend of mine wanted me to write a scene and act with her for her acting reel, and I invented Steinberg. But I didn't invent Steinberg. He was put together out of things. So the gag was, when I was editing on The Real World, the guy that taught me to edit was Russian, and he would strangle me, hit me with a ruler and a yardstick, and he'd go, "Get it right, get it right." Well, there's Steinberg. All these years later, decades later. So you find these things, and I get a kick out of Steinberg because he's the only guy that's come back from the dead 7 times to become a movie star. And I'm not gonna not do it. It shall be done if I'm breathing.
Yes. Big Hank had just got off. You know, me and Big Hank do the stand-up comedy on Thursday nights. You know, we have the podcast show Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And on Thursday nights in Long Beach, we have the stand-up comedy show. So this Thursday, I just want to put this in. This Thursday night is Big Hank's wife's birthday, and we'll be celebrating her birthday. Alicia's birthday there at the comedy show. I wish they had just put Big Hank's face right there. And so, but Alicia, she beautiful on the outside and the inside. Big Hank, that's I think that was the most valuable thing that he probably occurred in life, was having Alicia, because she's the most supportive wife. She's there at every show, sitting right there in the front. And so we celebrating her birthday this Thursday. So you'll be able to watch it through YouTube and stuff, you know. Don't want to try to get you way out to Long Beach and stuff. We got to get you to have a hit first and so, because you got some medical hookups on the side of it.
Oh yeah, I have 11 pills, 11 doctors, and a grand mal seizure is a form of death.
Yeah, and you ain't gonna be passing out on our show. No, you ain't gonna be on our show.
They gave me enough pills.
Yeah,
to kill a horse. I take 4 oxcarbazepines, 300 milligrams each a day. That's 1,200 milligrams. An aspirin is 10 or 5, and you know, in other words, multiply it out. I'm on certain pills to keep me alive.
Yeah,
and I'm a pill baby, and that's all I gotta be. But no, I want to watch that. It's Thursday night. At what time?
Thursday night. You'll be able to catch it on YouTube live. Like I send you the link and make sure you just go.
I want to get in on this. I just completed Steinberg Storms Hollywood with a pile of stand-ups. I bumped into Roy that way on stand-ups. I'm a stand-up kind of guy, only I sit down to do it mostly because of my conditions and so forth. But I think stand-up comedy is the basis of depression. It allows us to release our depression and,
Man,
and stay alive.
One of our audience members said grand mal seizures are no joke. He said I had one in 2009.
Wow.
I had 5 in a little over a year, 2 in a day. The
See,
last
man,
time,
I'm gonna tell you something, Steve. It's a blessing. I didn't tell Big Hank, and I'm glad that Steve came in because you see, Steve has survived. Big Hank, I was just telling everybody, you know how we was praying for Cal Lundy. He was supposed to be stage 4 cancer, and he was in the hospital, like he was on his last. Well, I got a call from Richie Sunday morning. He was a fraud. He never had cancer, and he was a matter of fact, he's in jail. He never had cancer. Man, everybody's been upset. Found out he's been in jail since March 6th down in Florida. He was supposed to be in the
comedy
hospital.
That's a comedy somewhere.
Yeah, he was supposed to be in the hospital in Arkansas, but he's down there drinking and writing bad checks in Florida. Somehow we lost it. And so why I said that, brought that back up, because one of the name of today's show is, let's stop with the dumb stuff and keep it real. I don't know why someone would use a dangerous health situation as cancer as to pretend that they are dying from cancer.
It's no joke. When I was at, when they told me you have prostate cancer, the outcome may not be good, and these are the things we can do. So that when they say that, it's very sobering. And thank God I chose the choice I did. I always try to knock on wood, because I chose the radiation, and it was 43 radiation treatments every day, like a job.
Yeah.
Where they, in the City of Hope, where they put you in a kind of a weird little a device that goes up and down and all around 360, and they're shooting special kinds of radiation protons right at the cancer, and it's like it's very weakening and trippy, and the outcome isn't known. If it's not working, you'll be dead.
Yeah, I remember when you shared that with me about he actually pulled himself off of a deathbed because your 2 roommates besides you had died.
Yeah, they dumped me after the second pulmonary embolism in an ambulance, the first ride I was ever in, all hooked up to everything there is to be hooked up. They threw me out. The Medicare was used up. I left my, I came conscious, and then they just shipped me to the nursing home. So it's a 3-bed room. The guy on the right died and the guy on the left died, but I was the guy in the middle with the controller. And on the TV set, they said, if you become an influencer, you can change the outcome of your life and everyone else's life. I didn't even know what an influencer was. So then the first Steinberg movie was Arthur Steinberg's Influencer Wars, the mockumentary. I dug in on it. Are all influencing all the time, and it's the power of our influencing that counts. And if we become a powerful influencer, there's no stopping us, because we have the streamiverse. People will join forces with us, and we can create any outcome we want, including the people who suddenly have 1 million, 5 million, 10 million. A lot of those music dudes, their whole income is based on streaming. Streaming is the new world order, and that's what we're doing right now. We're streaming. We're participating in changing how the world thinks. And the thing we're doing right now can also make people do things for us, watch things, think things, join us.
Hey, when the show started, I'll play a video. You've seen the video that I had with Big Hank, Jesus is Real. And when I hear stories like this, God is real, because Steve has been telling me, Big Hank, how he's here for a reason. And we've talked on the phone several times, man, and he is an influencer. He's talked to me, and then knowing his history. I mean, his IMDb got probably over 50 something different projects where he worked for MTV. Well, 21 years, Steve.
Yeah. Oh, there's the other issue with these seizures. You lose a large number of memory things. You go nuts. So only now are they coming back. Some of them. After 11 months from the last 2 seizures. They took me out of here twice in one day. But I worked for MTV on The Real World, Road Rules, The Challenge, The Kardashians. That company taught me everything I know. And then my years in the business and my 26 years in theater, which is really where it's at, because this is theater. This is theater right now. We're on the streaming stage, and our audience is right down there watching us. So if we can expand on this and turn this into many different dimensions, we can hear them laughing, et cetera, if it's jokes. And I try to be funny because I'm so depressing, you know.
Hey, mentioning that, Steve, there was when I see somebody eating. You ever seen somebody eating and they just enjoying it, right? Now, Big Hank is a deacon in the church, and I ran across a guy who really enjoys his food. Hold up, I need to show this.
You know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But for me, there's one particular breakfast that just takes me away. Something about this biscuit. Something about this biscuit. It is the best biscuit I know. Oh, how I love this biscuit. Oh, how I love this biscuit. It is the best biscuit I know. This honey butter chicken biscuit, I can't explain. Every time I pass Whataburger, I hear it call my name. Hear it call my name. This honey butter chicken biscuit, it's so good to me, so good to me. I'm just waiting on Whataburger to have buy one, get one free. Something about this biscuit. Something about this biscuit. Something
about this biscuit.
I had to reverse that thinking. In order to stay alive, my cardiologist at 250 pounds after that little bit of radiation and the first embolism, and I couldn't walk because I had to learn to walk a bunch of times. The gag was, he said, if you don't lose weight immediately, you'll be dead in 30 days. To which I said, how can I lose weight? I can't even walk. And then he said, that's your problem. So I started thinking, wow, how do you lose weight when you can't walk? You got to stop eating. So for 2 years, I went on the 1 meal a day program. Somewhere between 27 and 31 hours later, every day I ate. Until I got down to 120 pounds. Yikes.
Starla said, wow, 26 years in the business, Steve is great and you are funny. Yeah,
And the gag was, that's how I lost the weight. But now I try to modify that, and I have to eat a meal and a half a day for the weight loss. But the thing is, you can really stop a lot of health problems by being thin. And I didn't know that when my waist was 56, 58, and now it's around 28, 29. So when I put the belt on, way in is where I'm at and way out was where it was. And I stand in one leg of my old workout pants. My whole body goes in one leg and the other leg is empty. So somehow that also brought me back to life.
Yeah. And you know, mention bringing back to life. We lost known councilman from Flint, Michigan, Mr. Mays. We had showed him a couple of times, right? He died 3 weeks ago. I'm gonna show his
Gonna
video.
tell my kids this was President Barack Obama.
If you want to put this on and clown, it's ready for you. Because when you clown, I'm a double clown. That city attorney is wrong. He in cahoots. He getting paid. I passed by him and don't even say nothing to him. The other day he said to me, hey, Councilmember Mays, fine election we had. I damn near cussed him out. I do with those who act nice. Those who act nasty and ignorant, I get right with them. Y'all go low, I go hard. So is that answer your question? It's a third-degree felony, the president-elected officials.
I just wanted to say rest in peace.
Rest in
Mr.
peace.
He died 3 weeks ago, and
Wow.
I've always enjoyed showing him and stuff because he come hard on the council people. So
yeah, condolences to his family.
Condolences and stuff.
What a great guy. That personality was political, but also an actor.
Yes.
Strong.
Yes. And he was known that, you know, some people we get in. That's why I named this show today. You know, stop with the dumb stuff and let's keep it real. You know, because sometimes when people get in, I notice like if you get into a position at work or in political part, all of a sudden you got to change into the characters of who you is going against, and it seems like nothing never changes because you're adapting the same concepts as the people around you. So he liked to step out the box, and that's what I pride myself about knowing Mr. Councilman Mays, is that he stepped outside the box. And I heard that he was very, very instrumental because Flint, Michigan one time had where the fountains was displaying good water for the ducks, but the people was getting bad water and was getting diseases, and the water was so polluted that your hands and stuff would bump up from just washing water, you know, washing dishes and stuff. And the water was very wasn't contaminated and everything. And they said the water in the downtown area where the ducks in them was, was fresh water and stuff. So he was big and instrumental in getting that resolved for the city of Flint, Michigan. And so leaders like that, seems that he left a legacy. That's how I feel. He left a legacy, just like, and Mr. Steve, it's something you said earlier, and I totally agree with you that you're here for a mission. Like this is a coincidence for you to be on this show. Matter of fact, I sent him the link by happenstance, hoping to be, you know, I done sent it to him all the time, right? But I know he's busy, medical situations, himself going, but he's constantly thinking and be editing, you know what I'm saying? And it was a help to me because of the stuff that we're going, you know, doing our shows, doing our sitcom. He was giving me a lot of pointers about splinters and everything. I was taking it in. I be soaking it in what he be saying because I'd rather listen to somebody who is who
been there. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Big Hank?
Somebody who been there and done that already. Come on, man. Of course.
I'm gonna keep it real. So many people come in our faces acting like they can offer this and they got this. And you know, when I met Steve, who I can just imagine him going to Paul Newman's house, Miss Woodard, you know what I'm saying? And then learning from him and the history and stuff. You know, and one of the things I like to tell our younger people, don't disdain or look past the elderly. That's history in front of you. It can be from the streets, it can be from the Hollywood, it can be, just know that there's history because nothing's new under the sun. It's just different faces. So you can always learn and make it for something new. What he's been telling me it's been helping me with what we're doing, Big Hank, our production. He was one who told me. That's why I wanted to get the reading. Steve talked to me last week. He said, Roy, going to shoot the pilot. Do the pilot. So I told him we was going to set the reading. He said, do the reading, shoot your pilot and stuff. You know,
just
don't
make the show. All you got to do now, because of Zoom, and on the real world we use Skype, but that's sort of passe. Zoom is the end baby now. With Zoom, you can record anything you want anywhere, rehearse it anywhere, and then in addition to that, if they have a smartphone, there's your other angles. You get 3 angles for a sitcom minimum, you know, right, left, and center. And then that's usually how they do all the sitcoms. And you got to have a couch or a set. And well, for light, you go to Amazon. They got a couple. I have a gooseneck light on me right now that's a real pole lamp for the room, but I pointed at me. And so those will work. And then you can hear me. So apparently the audio is working. So I'm projecting enough, I believe. And you test it. And then you get yourself an actual MacBook Pro, an old one, kind of a refurbished one with iMovie. That's studio editing. So what's lacking? All you need is do it, make it.
Yeah. And that's what we do on our show or on our live podcast. We use 2 Mevo cameras and 2 iPhones, and the visual aid is remarkable. You know,
it's professional. It would go on. Remember, the worst movie ever made, Blair Witch, was made with junk, and this is superior technology.
Yeah.
So
and you know what, Steve? I just got a report. We found the video from when they when you got up off the out the room, and the guy on the left and the guy on the right had died. Then you got up and you went home. People were celebrating around the world, man. We found some video where some people was actually celebrating when you got home. Steve was home.
Couldn't walk, and I couldn't talk.
For you though.
These seizures prevent walking, talking, thinking, memories, and they're all connected to embolisms. Like Dre had the embolism, and then it caused strokes. These seizures.
Dre had a brain aneurysm.
And I had
a brain aneurysm.
I had 2 pulmonary embolisms. So these damn embolisms then lead to strokes.
Who you talking about, Big Hank? You said Dr. Dre? What?
Yeah. Dr. Dre had one a couple years ago. He didn't publicize it, but yeah, he had a brain aneurysm, man, a stroke.
And then he got 3 strokes later. And it comes in piles. I had the 5 seizures, and then meds and however they work us is what bring us back together with our own determination.
You know what, Steve? It shows Steve keeps up. You know, this is Steve Oakley, y'all, legendary in Hollywood.
In his own mind, also.
I beg your pardon,
Steve Oakley, man. I want to say this, Steve Oakley, man. I'm just gonna, because the picture in my mind is that you are here for a reason. God got you here for a reason, and the picture that I'm seeing is on one side of you somebody died, and on another side of you somebody died, but you stepped up out of the middle of it.
You sure did.
You know what I mean? And so I'm looking at you, man, as almost like almost somebody risen from the dead, man. You here for a reason. God got you here for a reason. And for me, being in front of you or being able to speak to you right now is a blessing from God for me. And so whatever it is I can do to learn from you, I'm going to do it, man. And I hope Roy do the same, man. And we just want to say, I want to say thank you, man, thank you for all the wisdom and knowledge and that you've been just giving us just now. Because I saw the picture when you painted it. It painted a picture in my mind, man. You stepped up out of the middle of it, man. You here for a reason.
He deep too, man. I mean, for real. When he talked to me and he told me that story, right? He took the cords off himself and got up because they was waiting for him to die, right? And when he told me about it, this is how I felt. Down, Steve. That's how I feel. What I love is that he has a sense of humor, and he pays attention to everything what's going on out there in the industry. As you know, he worked for MTV, y'all, for 20 some years. If you're going to get knowledge from anybody, make sure your source. You know, I was saying on our show, we don't believe in theories. I go with a proven fact. Mr. Steve Oakley is a proven fact. He's a proven fact that God is real, for one. You know, real. This man don't have to be here on this show.
And never quit. No, never quit until you're out, gone, done.
You heard me, y'all. Never quit.
Don't quit. What I do is the way I figure it is, like right now on Steinberg, I'm hitting some dead ends, but I find some other avenues, and as I move forward, reality TV is back, y'all. So I'm messing with some of that stuff, a haunted house show and some other stuff. And the thing is, this MacBook Pro, I got it on Glen Oaks and Glendale at a guy's joint. You could text me or email me and I'd send anyone there. But I found him online, and iMovie is on it. So that's something that anybody, if I can learn that after all my strokes, you know, anybody can learn this thing, and you can make any movie you want, your own series, your own sitcom, your own feature, whatever it is you want to make, a reality show on with your own equipment. Just don't stop. And also those pictures behind me are my dead mother and grandmother. They're with me making all this happen. They're doing it.
Starlet said, yes, indeed, Steve, Big Hank, you are on point. Steve is blessed. And we, you know me, and he knows I tease and laugh. And Steve does too. And I have love in my heart for him. And, ever since we first met and I listened to him, I did not measure him up because of him being in Hollywood. I measured him up for a person who's striving, who doesn't give up. He told me, he said, Roy, I'm going to do this until my last breath is gone out of me. And that, and you heard him say that if, he done had strokes and he's still learning the MacBook. He's doing it. Those of y'all who've never been through anything, you don't have an excuse. If you are seeking a goal, like myself, I'm in this entertainment. I'm going to tell you, Steve, sometimes I get that spirit where, man, is this worth it? Am I doing it? You know what I'm saying? And just what you said, that helps me even more. You just gave me like energy juice, if it makes sense. Because sometimes it's like, wow, listen, my wheels just spinning in the mud. Is anybody paying attention to what we're doing? Me and Big Hank is constantly, and sometimes I do have that feeling like, and I say, Lord, your will be done. Because sometimes I'm wondering, am I getting somewhere? Am I getting out there? Am I, what I'm saying? Things perplexes me. And so then I'm like the show, the comedy show, to be real with you, and somebody said, well, man, we had to put your name up there. I wouldn't care if it just said comedy show, because I just see a stage and I see the talents. I look back and I look at the comics and I looked at them as cast, like I see them in a sitcom. So that's where I wrote the sitcom, and I added the comics that I seen in there. And now, as you know, Steve, in this new day, in the script writing, they got what they call unscripted. Now they got shows that are unscripted.
I'm making those real world unscripted. I'm doing those right now. They're that reality is that you can mix and match.
Well, you know, I took it where I took the scripted and matched it with the unscripted, because I think that comedians doesn't get like, okay, we want to be on a television show or a movie, but I feel like it's a sitcom and it's a parody. So what I did was, let's give each comic who's ever in our performance a 1-minute monologue, which is unscripted, whatever that how they wanted to do it, but we still stay with the base of the show. And I went over this with Steve Big Hank and stuff. And he was giving me a lot of tidbits. That's why this Friday we're having the reading. Steve, we're getting this.
Put the reading in the show.
Reading for the sitcom show. Yeah.
Put the reading of the show in the show.
Oh, but we only on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
No, but I mean, whenever you get together for the reading, whether it's on Zoom, yeah.
Okay.
I only work on Zoom. I can't get around a lot of people because of my condition. So
yes, sir.
Put the reading in the show, and whoever ain't there, bring them in on Zoom, and it all blends. And then the making of or the long version.
Yes, sir. You know, and this is unscripted. We're down to the last 5 minutes, and I'm gonna tell you something. And God hears me. You know, I thank God for my mother. You know, she's around the same age, and it's a blessing to have the wisdom around, especially people who can tell me, Roy, you can do it. You know, Big Hank is like, I feel like I've been a Siamese twin with him, but he just didn't see me because he had a big jacket on. So he's been an inspiration in my heart, along with his wife and his family. And I also want to tell you, thank you, Big Hank, because Big Hank, y'all, is most comics don't bring people. And sometimes it seems like I'm not even slacking sometimes with people coming out and produce a show. But Big Hank has family and friends that comes. And if it wasn't for them and stuff, for real, I'd be piggybacking off of his fan base and stuff. So, and I'm not ashamed of where I get in, you know. And I thank God for this position. Yeah, I'm for real about that.
Thank you, man.
Past me, you feel me? But I thank God for being in this position. I thank for both of y'all being in my life, as far as knowing in this entertainment. You know, my heart is truly into this, and Steve knows. I listen to him like he's an uncle. He's just the other side of the family tree, but yes, that's one of my uncles. You feel me? And,
yes, sir.
There's nothing that, and I thank God for him. I really, really do, Steve. Not because of your Hollywood and trying to get his resources and get me in, Steve. It's never been like that. I listen to him and what he has to offer me, I take it in. But I take his advice. And if I see this man can be here on a medical and still getting projects out, y'all, we have no excuse if you got a goal.
Yes, sir.
You have no excuse. Cynthia is another strong person like that. She doesn't give no excuses. Steve runs what he had. It's not like he's bragging that he had aneurysms and strokes. He's talking about what he's come from. And that's testimony. Some of us don't even want to get up out the bed, let alone persevere. You feel me? This man done been through COVID. You know, he had COVID, but I'm just saying he gone through the COVID, and COVID was the least of his concern when you got all these other scenarios. And so you're an inspiration.
That's why I wear this mask all the time. Anywhere I go, it's up. And that's what Steinberg's based on.
And you do look like one of them Hollywood icons, though, from the day you got the shades on and everything.
Makes me look younger, less dead.
Hey, I know that you be busy on Thursdays, but if you want to come back in, I'm gonna send you the invite anyway.
Okay, send me the invite. If it's comedy, I'll work out a bit.
I'm always on it. Always inviting him in. Before we close, Steve, we at the top of the hour. We always give a closing statement, some words of advice to anybody. Can you share, give us a tidbit, like, last minute thing to the people?
Make sure you walk. You cut back on calories. Don't go heavy, and have fun. Create anything you want to create. Build a car, a house, a movie. Anything you want to do, you can do.
Thank you. Oh, well, you know what? Before I go into my tip, and Big Hank got out, it's my daughter's birthday today. My youngest, my sugar mommy, she turned 16 years old today, right? And I don't really put a lot of my family and personal life up on, because sometimes they like to be behind the scenes and like, oh, well, I wasn't looking like this. And so I'm gonna show some pictures of her Thursday. But I just want to say happy birthday to my sugar mommy. Big Hank got off with saying, but Big Hank was on, he'll be saying, telling everybody, he'll quote a scripture, and then he's gonna tell everybody, remember, God is watching all the time. And if you think he's not watching, he is. And then I would piggyback off of what Steve just said, walk, get healthy. I always tell them this, Steve, when I get through eating the meal, I stand up and walk for at least 30 minutes, for real. That's one of the best things. Don't lay down, because sometimes your food can't digest in your stomach correctly, and you can, there's chemical reactions to that. But I also want to say, remember that God is first. That's me. Remember that God is around, and I have salvation through his son. That's how I believe. Steve,
we're only here because of God.
There it is. There it is. He's real. Hey, man, I want to tell you thank you. We getting off the show, man.
Thank you. And I'll see you Thursday, I hope.
Yeah. This is Steve Oakley, legendary Hollywood legend.
Thank you, Roy Anthony, the comic of Long Beach.
Oh, wait, Big Hank just came in. I'm gonna see if we get. I was just trying to say your last second approach was go ahead, Big Hank. You say yours before we get off.
Man, I keep breaking up. They keep sending me in and out. But yeah, man, first of all, just want to say thank you, Roy. Thank you, Steve Oakley, man, for your support, man. And like I said, man, you're a godsend. But like I always do, man, I live life like God is watching, because he is, man. I ask you to do the same. And always remember that God is watching, man. God is always watching.
That's righteous. Hey, man, God bless everyone who's watching. And we'll see you Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Roy Anthony's Big Hank, our special guest, Steve Oakley. We're out here. Cynthia Joy was in. She had to bounce out. Love you, Cynthia. Talk to y'all later. God bless.
Welcome to the Roy Anthony every Tuesday and every Thursday. Y'all tap in.
Is this thing on?